Hey everybody in YouTube land, welcome to my new movie collections update video for the month of July 2015. Guys, as always, I want to thank you for joining me once again. I enjoy doing these videos and I hope you guys enjoy them as much as I do. I got a nice little selection of movies to talk to you about today that I saw recently within probably the last 2 months or so, guys. So really, again, it just always feels like I'm telling you guys that I'm catching up on stuff, and honestly I am just catching up on a lot of stuff that you guys may have already seen maybe a month or two ago. But anyway, guys, as always, like the video, give me comments, tell me what you think about what I'm going to talk about, give me other recommendations, and let's get started. Alright guys, so there are no digital movies that I have basically to talk about today because I didn't get to watch anything. So basically everything that I'm going to show you today is basically stuff that I have hard copies of. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to start off with is this, I guess you can call this a paranormal horror film called The Babadook. Right, yeah, unfortunately I didn't get the Best Buy version, which has, the other red cover, that basically looks like the book in the movie. So I got this one actually from Target. So, but either way, it's the same damn movie, right guys, so who cares? Alright, The Babadook, basic premise. It's about this woman and her son who I believe have just come out from a tragic experience of losing, she loses her husband in a car accident, and the entire movie basically is about her trying to cope with her son. Her son at the beginning kind of, is a bit problematic because he's a little bit out of control in terms of, how she tries to handle him, tries to, make him feel better about the whole situation. So there's a lot of things that happen throughout the first half of the movie between the mother and son in terms of, him being a little bit, out of control. But then the book shows up one day at her doorstep, or actually she has it in her possession anyway, and she reads from it to the son as a bedtime story. And then weird things start happening around the house dealing with the Babadook itself, which is, they really don't really explain what the Babadook is as a, paranormal entity, because there's something else that the Babadook is supposed to represent in the film. And I don't want to give it away because I thought it was actually very clever and a thoughtful way of trying to address, I guess the post-traumatic, symptoms of the, the unfortunate experience that they suffered, at the car accident and losing the husband. So, I'll just give you that much. But honestly, guys, it wasn't a scary movie, but it was actually a well thought out film in terms of the writing. I thought it was really, really unique that they represent, an issue like this, which I'm sure that a lot of people that experience something like this probably deal with, and it's their way of trying to cope with the situation in rather, again, in a scary way, trying to face those fears and things of that nature. But The Babadook, actually, it was a really great movie, guys. So I definitely recommend this, guys, for you to watch. All right. The next film that I have to show you is Jennifer Aniston in Cake. And the basic premise of this film is Jennifer Aniston plays, I believe she is, again, almost similar to the Babadook, which is actually kind of strange, but she's also, someone that's recovering from an accident that kind of leaves her not entirely, paralyzed, but she's kind of like recovering from that. So, she's going to, physical therapy to try to be able to, gain a lot of mobility. I mean, she's able to move around and walk, but with a lot of pain and difficulty. So there's that aspect of her trying to deal with the physical therapy, trying to get her life back together, and also her anger issues. And a lot of this kind of stems from something else that is revealed pretty much almost towards the end of the film, but you kind of get hints at it because of who she begins to interact with and the direction that particular scenario and situation seems to go with, especially when she meets Sam Worthington's character in this film. And, I thought it was really unique to see Jennifer Aniston play a role like this. I don't think I've ever seen her play anything like this. Mostly a lot of comedic roles and things of that nature. But to see her play this role where basically, she basically is this woman who is recovering from, again, another traumatic experience which almost cost her life. But of course ends up costing her something even more than that in the process, and how she tries to cope and recover with that, and the people that are actually around her that are trying to help her to kind of get back together into who she really wants to be again. So it was another great film, guys. I definitely recommend Jennifer Aniston, in this film Cake. Well, I recommend the film too. It's a really great film, guys. The next film that I have to show you has pretty much an amazing all-star cast, and it's the film Chef. It's got Jon Favreau in it. Scarlett Johansson's in it, Sofia Vergara, John Leguizamo, Dustin Hoffman, I believe, is in this film as well, and even Robert Downey Jr. too. So you got like half the cast of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in here too. So that's pretty unique. But the basic premise is Jon Favreau plays this character. He's a chef who owns, well, he doesn't own his own business, but he works at a place where he's like, he is the head chef of the restaurant, and he kind of gets into this disagreement with the owner. They separate. and he goes off trying to kind of restart his career again, and he ends up getting this food truck, and he starts, you know, going around trying to do what he wants to do in terms of the cooking that he wants to do. And that's one half of the story. The other half of the story kind of revolves around him trying to rebuild his relationship with his son, because in the film, his character and Sofia Vergara's character basically were husband and wife. They're now separated, but he still wants to have his son in his life, even though the thing that's kind of holding him back is because he's too serious about his job. So now when he gets the food truck, basically it's an opportunity for him and his son to finally kind of get together and be able to experience what it's like being with each other, you know, as a father and son. And the food truck is a way that kind of brings them together, because he has a son working on the food truck as well. It's a great film, guys. I mean, again, I love food, who doesn't? And just to see, again, you know, a film that deals with cooking, you know, it's always like a treat for me to actually watch. And again, the unique story that's behind it too makes it an even greater experience to watch. So I definitely say check out, you know, Chef. It's a really great film, guys. The next film that I have to show you is Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar. I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. I really did like this movie a lot. The basic premise is, I mean, you could say it's almost like an end of the world type of film, but not entirely. Basically, the Earth is pretty much on the verge of, you know, I believe becoming a barren wasteland because of some phenomenon that's happening there. And, you know, Matthew McConaughey gets involved with an organization that used to be formerly known as NASA. Well, actually is NASA, you know, they thought that was defunct, but, you know, he gets involved with them. They send him into space under the premise that there is possibly a way that they can find another world that they can start rebuilding again. They just have to go through some sort of interstellar dimensional rift, I believe is what you would call it. I'm not really sure exactly, guys, so I mean, you know, don't crucify me on that. But, you know, he and Anne Hathaway's character go into space. They go through this thing. They travel to a distant galaxy. I mean, for artistic purposes, it's kind of like, you know, a wormhole that they go through, go to a distant galaxy, and they start trying to figure out what other planets might exist based on previous expeditions that were sent but were never actually heard from or never actually recovered. And, you know, they start finding these other worlds, you know, with various, you know, conditions, and they're just trying to figure out what's the best course of action to take to, you know, kind of save people on Earth. And there's a unique thing about, you know, in terms of the whole points and the intent behind the mission, and the whole thing about, you know, leaping into a black hole and what could happen. So there's a unique kind of like spin on this in terms of what really happens in terms of time travel, perhaps the afterlife too. You know, there's a lot of, you know, really deep, intriguing thought that was put into this film in terms of just how everything seems to connect to each other, which I guess is what we should come to expect from Christopher Nolan anyway. Again, seeing things like Inception, you know. So, you know, coming from that, this movie is no surprise that he would do it, but it's actually pretty unique and well thought out, and I really did like it a lot, guys. The visuals are amazing in Interstellar. You know, so I definitely say check it out, guys, because it's really like an interesting mind trip, to, you know, to a certain extent to watch. So definitely. The next film that I have to show you, of course, is the third series in Liam Neeson's Taken 3. Guys, I don't know. I mean, the basic premise is, you know, his wife gets killed in the film, and he's blamed for it, and he tries to go looking for the people responsible for her death, and that's pretty much it. And I have to say that kind of similar almost to my comments about the Expendables, especially going down to Expendables 3, where I didn't think it was actually necessary because it just felt like it was already way drawn out. This, again, you know, felt the same way. I felt like it wasn't really necessary. I thought up to part 2 was fine enough, and I was kind of thinking, was there going to be any remnants of part 2 that kind of leaked, you know, into part 3 as a reason for why, you know, things happen the way they do. But it's not entirely that. It's an entirely different set of people that are responsible for his wife's death in this movie. But I kind of felt like, again, we've been through so much that it wasn't really necessary to have to provide a whole entire role reversal of sorts now for Taken 3, because it's like everything that he's done in the past 2 movies now are being done to him. You know, and he's the one now saying, you know, come and get me, or good luck, or things of that nature. You know, but I mean, the action sequences were pretty nice. Again, it's always you know, it's always a lot of fun watching Liam Neeson play these characters anyway. But again, I didn't think it was the best movie in the series. Of course, the first one was always the best for me. And this one, like I said, just didn't feel like it was that necessary to have been made, but whatever, you know. It's a fun popcorn flick, I'll say that much, guys, you know. So definitely, you know, if you want to enjoy it on a Friday night with friends, definitely check out Taken 3. And the last film that I have to show you for this particular video, guys, is Kevin Hart and Josh Gad in The Wedding Ringer. I love this movie, guys. It was really a lot of fun. I really didn't know what to expect from it, but I really thoroughly enjoyed it, you know. Basic premise, Josh Gad plays this bachelor who's about to get married, well, the groom who's about to get married, and he has no friends, so it becomes a big dilemma for him trying to, you know, get people to, you know, be his groomsmen. And it becomes a whole situation, and he finds out about Kevin Hart and his business where he provides groomsmen and all these other services for the groom, for the wedding. And, you know, beyond that, you know, that's like the basic, you know, plot for why Josh Gad and Kevin Hart's characters meet. But the actual story behind it is how, throughout the course of all the preparation, Kevin Hart and Josh Gad's characters kind of form this unique bond, and they really do kind of become friends. So yeah, I mean, they become really close friends, you know, through these, you know, really unique and funny situations. And it was a really good story, guys. I really did like it. You know, the fact that it wasn't just about, you know, again, Kevin Hart coming in and being, you know, the whole comedic aspect of the film, and of course Josh Gad is pretty funny himself too. But it was this other you know, underlining theme about, you know, forming friendships, you know, and seeing what, you know, what each other, you know, what makes the other person who they are. And there was a really unique twist at the end, you know, which I thought was actually, you know, was like, I really didn't, you know, I kind of didn't see that coming, but you know, it makes so much sense, and I'm kind of glad that it went that way too, knowing, like, you know, when things finally come full circle. You know, but it's a great film, guys. So I definitely say check it out if you haven't done so already, guys. Check out The Wedding Ring. It's really a lot of fun, guys. And that's pretty much it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed what I had to show you. Like I said before, like the video, give me comments, tell me what you think about these videos, you know, these movies that I showed you. Give me other recommendations, guys. And as always, stay safe, keep watching films, and I'll catch you next time, guys. All right?